How does Russia treat the Catholic Church? Well, this is a very interesting question because it takes us to a very important element of the situation, which people not usually have in mind. In Russia, there are three types of religions. As I explained in my previous answer, there's a state religion, which is the Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church of the Patriarchate of Moscow. And this is very important because the Orthodox churches are autocephalous. They are their own head because they are territorial churches. They are not universal. Catholic means universal. The Catholic Church is universal. The Orthodox churches are territorial. So there's the Moldavian Church, there's the Romanian Orthodox Church, etc., etc. Now, they want to disseminate the authority of the Patriarchate of Moscow. Now, this is the official church of the state. This is the state church. The 1997 Constitution gives freedom of conscience and freedom of religion, theoretically. In fact, the Orthodox Church is one and the same with the Russian government. For example, the Russian Orthodox Church, Moscow Patriarchate, has the control of tobacco and alcohol in Russia. And you know that alcohol is consumed in very large quantities. Why? Because this is part of the relations between the state and the church. They are one and the same. Then there's a second class religions, which are the three so-called official religions of Russia. First, Judaism, Hebrews. I really don't know why, because there are not that many Jews in Russia. But anyway, it's considered a traditional Russian religion. Then Islam. Islam is considered a traditional Russian religion for several reasons. One, because there were several Islamic Muslim countries within the Soviet Union. Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Chechnya, etc., etc. Karabakh, Norogov, etc. So Islam is part of the Soviet spirit, is part of the Soviet, let's call it, family. And then for even a deeper reason, because Russians are, once I was discussing with a theologian from the Patriarchate of Russia, of Moscow. This was in 2005 in Moscow. And he said, scratch the Russian's skin and you will find a Tatar, an Eastern people. So Islam is very much part of the Russian spirit, and it's one of the official religions. You can see that, for example, today, one of the regiments that are attacking Ukraine are the Chechenian Muslim regiments, with officially under Russian command, are invading the Ukraine. Then the third official religion of the Russian Federation is shamanism. Shamanism is witchcraft, especially in Siberia. And this is also very important because beyond the Orthodox religion, beyond, or I would say underneath the Orthodox religion, we always find a shamanic way of being. I remember once in a church, in an Orthodox church, I saw a person who was out of his mind. He was like this, sort of in ecstasy. And I asked a person who was with me, what's going on with this person? He said, no, he's contemplating Christ. Well, so you see, this type of energetic, charismatic, Pentecostal religiosity is very much part of the Russian soul. And this finds it's a primitive, traditional expression in Russian shamanism. And this is why one of the most influential philosophers in Russia, one of the main advisors to Vladimir Putin, Alexander Dugin, he says there are two Russias. I don't remember now the exact word he uses, but the upper or public Russia and the profound or real Russia. And this deep Russia is what matters. And this deep Russia is very much into shamanism. Well, all the other religions, beginning with the Catholic one, are badly tolerated. I say badly tolerated because it's not that they go around killing Catholic priests, but the Catholic Church is literally persecuted in Russia. I know that this may come as a shock for Americans, but as I said, I've been there many times. I know exactly what I'm talking about. For example, a Catholic church cannot have the facade of a Catholic church. The only Catholic church with a facade of a Catholic church is the Cathedral of St. Catherine on Nevsky Prospect in St. Petersburg. You'll say, well, the Cathedral of Moscow. Well, the Cathedral of Moscow is actually the Polish National Church. All the other churches have to be hidden behind anonymous facades and of normal buildings, and behind those buildings there can be churches. The Catholic Church cannot do any type of apostolate outside of strictly Catholic ambiences. For example, you cannot do processions. You cannot do public rosaries. I know that I'm speaking to the American TFP Student Action. I know that you do thousands and thousands of public rosaries. Well, those are forbidden in Russia. If you do a public rosary, the FSB, the ex-KGB will come and take you in to the Lubyanka and question you, what are you doing? Because that is considered anti-Russian proselytism. You cannot approach a Russian Orthodox in order to speak about Catholic religion, because that's proselytism. I'll give you two concrete examples so you can touch with your hands the situation of the Catholic Church. The Cathedral of Moscow, of the Mother of God in Moscow, it's a very, very large property, and the church is in the back. Now, in the front, there's a garden separated from the streets. It's a corner separated from both streets by a low wall with several gates that you can go in and out freely. At a certain point, the former Archbishop of Moscow, whom I knew and know very well, Monsignor Tadeusz Kondrosevich, he, in the outside corner, he built a playground for children, with all those games that you normally have in a children's playground. Well, the Moscow Patriarchate officially protested with the Vatican because he was doing proselytism. Why? Because Orthodox children were going to play in the Catholic playground, and that's forbidden in the Russian Federation. And there was an official note of protest from the Patriarchate of Moscow. This is the ambience that you have in Russia. A second example, and this was told to me by the Father Caprio, Stefano Caprio, who was parish priest near Moscow, and he was expelled from Russia. By the way, I told you that this statue made a 6-month pilgrimage in Siberia. Well, the bishop that organized that pilgrimage, Monsignor Jerzy Matsur, he was expelled from Russia as a punishment for having organized a pilgrimage with this image. And mind you, he was extremely careful not to go to any Orthodox place. He just went exclusively to Catholic places, Catholic prayer centers, Catholic churches, Catholic oratories, etc. He was very careful with that. notwithstanding his prudence, he was expelled from Russia because he took this statue in his diocese. Well, I was telling you the story of Father Stefano Caprio. He's Italian. He was expelled. Why? You know that in Italy, every parish has an oratory. An oratory is basically a playground for the parish children. They go to play. They can also drink Coke and sandwiches and things like chips and things like that. And then they have catechism. It's a concept that was introduced by St. John Bosco, who said children have to play and then they have to be catechized. They have to be taught. So catechism and games within a Salesian or St. John Bosco system go together. And that's how all of Italian parishes work. They all have their oratory. Well, Father Caprio went and he was given this parish in south of Moscow. And the first thing he did was an oratory. Again, there was an official protest of the Moscow Patriarchate against him because he was enticing, he was bringing in Orthodox children. And the Orthodox priest of the town went to protest with him. And he said, well, why don't we do something? I'll teach you how to do an oratory. Why don't you do your own Orthodox oratory? So there will be a Catholic oratory and an Orthodox oratory, and children can go to one or to the other. And the Orthodox priest said, yes, why not? But then as he began, he was removed because the Orthodox don't have the idea of catechism. Why? Because they don't need catechism. Why? Because if you are born Russian, you are Orthodox, period. And that's their idea. So they don't have catechism. They don't have, for example, they don't have homilies as we do, catechetical homilies, sermons. They don't have that because they don't need them. You are already Russian. You are one of ours, period. Well, the Orthodox priest was removed. Father Caprio was expelled. This is the type of freedom the Catholic Church has. Another point, and with this I finish this answer. You know that there is a Russian Catholic liturgy. There's in Rome, there's even a church, the Russicum, which celebrates the Russian Catholic rite. Well, this Catholic Russian rite is forbidden in Russia and in all the controlled areas of Russia. And this is a major point because 98 or 90% of Ukrainian Catholics are of Byzantine rite, not Russian Byzantine, but Greek Byzantine. You've all heard of Monsignor Shevchuk, Miroslav Shevchuk, who is he's the head of the Ukrainian Catholic Greek Church. Well, this church will simply be destroyed if Russia takes over Ukraine because they don't tolerate the Byzantine Catholic rite because it attracts the Russian people. It's in Russian, or in this case, it's in Greek, in Paleo-Slav actually. It's forbidden. They hardly tolerate the Roman rite because they can always say, well, that's Roman, this is not Russian. So you see, to answer the question, how does Russia treat the Catholic Church? This is the way Russia treats the Catholic Church. And I repeat, this is one of the major concerns that we Catholics should have with the Russian invasion of Ukraine.